Hey, this is Valerie Vanity, and today I have a review of the Balm Voyage Palette for you. This is available at thebalm.com, which I really like to say, for $42.50. I'm going to edit in the swatches so that you can see the photos of those. Alright, so the palette is about yay big. It's very, very slim, which will make it travel friendly. It's super cute. All of the balms packaging has kind of like a retro pinup style feel to it. I have a blog post for the Nude Tude palette, which is super fun. It's got naked ladies on it, basically. So the palette comes in a sleeve, and it's got a flip style lid. There's two layers to it. There's cheek and lip stains, and then eyeshadows. There's 16 eyeshadows, 3 lip and cheek stains. All of the shades are listed on the back with the ingredients, and it comes with a little mirror, and it's got kind of like a little passport looking thing. Okay, so here are all the shades. And the way it's kind of set up is a little bit like an airplane, like airplane seating, which is super cute, like how the shades are named. Alright, so we will start with the top row. So the first shade we have is A4. It's kind of like a really darkened gunmetal shade with a lot of shimmer. B4 is a olive brown a little bit with heavy shimmer. C4 is kind of like a muddy red brown, and the shimmer in C4 is a lot more like just really fine glitter. The glitter didn't really travel around as much as I thought it would. D4 is kind of like a dark khaki green with, you know, surprise, more shimmer. A3 is one of my favorite shades. It's a silvery white. This one is super, super pretty as an inner corner highlight, and the wear on all of these shades is great, but A3 for a highlight shade really surprised me for hanging around as long as it did. B3 is a really nice smooth matte taupe color. C3 makes me think of Adobe, like Adobe walls. It's just kind of a really nice neutral medium brown. Another perfect crease shade. I use this one a lot as a transition color, and then when I do more of a natural look, just in the crease itself. D3 is, I think, my favorite shade of the palette. This one is a really bright golden brown. More gold. It's very metallic looking, super shimmery. This looks gorgeous all over the lid. A2 is one of the weird powdery shades that didn't have that good of pigmentation. It's like a violet with kind of bluish sparkle. I wasn't super impressed with A2. It kind of just, I don't know, fell flat. It looks neat in the palette, and it's kind of cool to see some brights in with a lot of neutrals, but it didn't blow my mind. B2 had some of the same pigmentation problems as A2, but not nearly as bad. I definitely see this being used as a inner corner highlight more than anything, like an unconventional inner corner highlight. C2 was probably my third favorite shade. I think I ranked them in my head individually, but it's a really nice, like kind of like a dusty looking evergreen color. It's matte mostly. It looks like it has shimmer in it, but it doesn't translate really well, so I mean it might as well be matte. But for a really, it's just really rich and buttery. I like it a lot. D2 I can see being a lot of everyone else's favorite. D2 is just a really pale rosy pink with a lot of shimmer. It's one of the better shades for kind of just throwing it on, out, you know, all over lid shade, getting out the door really fast. A1, similar usage I see as D2, really easy to wear, throw it on shade that doesn't require a lot of extra work. It's kind of more of a taupey rose with a lot of shimmer. B1 is, while it's not my favorite, one of my favorites, it is one of the most useful shades out of the palette. This one I use a lot as a highlighter, like a brow highlighter, or to help blend out my crease colors. It's like a very yellowy vanilla color. It's pretty much my skin tone. C1 is a really pale butter yellow with not as much shimmer as some of the shades in the palette, but a good amount. I haven't really used this one for anything. I feel like it's too yellow to be a highlight shade. It's not a really good all over lid shade because I think it's too light. So I don't really know what to do with it most of the time. I also don't like it in the inner corner for some reason. I just don't like yellow on my inner corner. D1 is a really yellow gold. It's not like a metallic gold like D3 is. And this one's a lot more sheer, but it's not, the worst shade. Again, it's really yellow. I don't like using super yellow shades. I think the best performing ones out of the whole palette for shadows were D3, which is that gold one that I love, A3, A1, and the whole top row. Most of the palette is really, really good. I guess it makes more sense to tell you what wasn't good. B1 is super powdery. Even though I use it every day, it easily is the powderiest shadow in the palette. It kicks up a load of extra shadow, and I feel like I'm wasting so much when I use it. B3 and C3 are a little powdery as well, but they're not that bad. I mean, definitely the eyeshadows, the palette is wonderful. I'm nitpicking on the stuff that does suck. And then my favorite feature of this palette is whenever you see a palette that includes lip colors with eyeshadows, you always know that all the eyeshadow dust is just going to travel into the lip color and it's going to get really gross. Well, they separated the lip and cheek stains with another little flap, and so that keeps them all nice and clean, and I love that about this. There are 3 lip and cheek stains: Second Officer, First Officer, and Captain. Second Officer is a super bright candy apple red. First Officer is just like a peach, like a pinky peach coral color. And then Captain is a medium pink, but it's a lot brighter than it in person than it looks probably right now. All of them have kind of a fake lipstick smell, like the lipstick you got when you were a little kid, and they almost feel that way on the lips. They're not drying, but they're definitely not moisturizing. My favorite way to wear them was to mix them with a lip balm, and then that kind of balanced out the non-hydratingness of them, and also made them, sheared them out a little bit, because even though they're stains, they're pretty pigmented. I did use them all on my cheeks, and they were almost too pigmented for my cheeks. It took a really long time to figure out the proper amount to apply. I seriously would just tap a few times. So this much is probably too much for your cheeks. No, that's actually a good amount, but they're pretty easy to blend out, and then they don't actually stain that much. I did get a lot of wear on them as a cheek stain. I think they lasted about 8 hours, and I didn't notice any fading, and my blush looked really nice at the end of the day. But they do not perform well as lip stains. The Second Officer one stained really well because it's super bright red, but the other 2 acted just like a regular lip color. When you ate anything or drank anything, they transferred really easily and came off. So that was a little disappointing, but the colors are really lovely. They included a red and also, a more neutral, lighter shade, which is probably what most people would end up using. I use these 2 I use First Officer and Captain for work all the time as lip and cheek stains. They're both very office friendly, and they just apply really well. But overall, I am in love with this palette. I have been using it every day for about 2 weeks, and there's you know, so many colors in here that you do not have issues at all coming up with new eyeshadow looks. I have been getting in a rut, like what I'm wearing today is D3 on the lid, a mixture of C3 and B3 in the crease with, I think it's B4 to kind of like darken it up. And then I'm using the Lorac 3D Liquid Luster as an inner corner highlight, but I definitely think this palette is worth the $42.50. It's very travel friendly. It just fits, you know, either in your purse or, because I can see, you know, you definitely need to reapply the lip stains throughout the day. But this size, you know, I mean, it looks big, but it doesn't take up a lot of room. And I'm in love with it. I know that right now on theBalm.com you can sign up for their newsletter and get 10% off, which would include this palette. The Balm is cruelty free. I don't know whether or not the shadows are vegan or not. If that is something that you are into, you would probably have to look into that. But overall, I love it. So I want to thank you for watching the Balm Voyage Palette review. I am Valerie Vanity, your Cosmoholic's guide to everything pretty.